Walt Disney Company just suffered its worst box office defeat in the history of the company when adjusted for inflation. A woke girl boss movie that was supposed to shine a light on AOC. Now, audiences are seeing their way out, and there's no doubt Disney may have brought forth the end of the girl boss movie. Hello, folks. Welcome back yet again. Yes, there was truth to the rumors that Disney and Paramount were making David, the biblical film, suffer at theaters. We've got it. We'll bring it to you. We've got the receipts. Folks, as we dive in, click the like button, drop a comment down below, and keeping you ahead of the culture curve, it's what we do. We'll do it once more right now. It was supposed to be a celebration of woke girl bosses like AOC, but instead, it is suffering under a sea of angst and anger from box office audiences who do not care one iota for another girl boss movie. Ella McKay, released in 2025 at the very end of the year, has made, ladies and gentlemen, $4.5 million, and it's done. And in case you're wondering, why would we cover a little indie film like this? A little, no. This is not an indie film, ladies and gentlemen. This is Disney. And this is Disney's lowest performing box office wide release in the history of the company when adjusted for inflation, we believe. Folks, it's so bad that Ella McKay, a girl boss movie, and maybe the last of its kind, was canceled from even being released in France, which if you're a woke movie and you can't make it in France, if they decide that's not a place for you, holy cow. Jordan Ruamy over at World of Real was reporting this one. It's so bad. It is so bad that now we can say that Ella McKay ended with a 22% Rotten Tomato score, tomato meter, and the popcorn meter 57%. This is, I believe, guys, one of the last of its kind. I think Disney might actually be done with this sort of thing. People don't know. I mean, and they brought out the names for this. This is Jamie Lee Curtis. This is Woody Harrelson. This is not a little indie film Blair Witch Project style thing. They threw a lot at this. And we never had this on our radar because the budget was still small compared to things like, superhero films. This lost Disney a ton of money because even as low as the budget must be, they had to spend something on it. Jamie Lee Curtis didn't work for free. She's not there pro bono. $4.5 million. And get ready. Here's the news. Take a look at this. This is the culture. You got to see this. This is amazing. Folks, can you see it? Should I zoom in? Let me see if I can zoom in. Look at this. Is Ella McKay. The Walt Disney Company, because people said, the David movie, that it's just a bunch of lies that Disney is preventing from having wide release, bigger than, and better than it should be. Disney forced theaters to run this movie in 2,500 theaters. Ladies and gentlemen, on December 22nd, when they pulled it from going into France, it made $36, aka it sold 3 tickets on average all day per screen. 3 tickets all day. On average, your theater was probably empty or might have had one person. But the likelihood is that the 3 people came together. So the likelihood is there was one showing on average in an entire day that had anybody watching Ella McKay. Now look at this. Here's what you need to see. As soon as the contract ended, pay attention to this. This is what Disney forced. As soon as the contract ended, it's obvious that 450 screens were still required. You don't get zeros like this. But what happened once the contract was gone? Ella McKay dropped from, again, 2,500 screens across America to 115. In January, it is now down to 115, and this movie is done. It's over. It's out of here. Ella McKay has flatlined before it even made $5 million. It is the most humiliating and perhaps one of the wokest, jokiest films Disney ever made. Guys, your thoughts on this one?
Disney is kind of the highest of highs and the lowest of lows this year because, you have things like Zootopia and Avatar, which are producing very well for them. But then you have things like this that are just atrocious bombs. And then you have things like Captain America, Snow White. Disney defenders like to argue with me and say like, oh, well, they had the only movies that crossed $1 billion. I said, okay, what's their profit margin? How much money did they make versus how much money did they spend? Because I guarantee you they are not the studio that made the most money this year because of things like this. And So what was the budget on this one, Pro?
I think it was about $35 million. I'm not sure that's been officially stated, but I think it was about $35 million. If you think they had to, I mean, the marketing has to be like what, 15, 20 million? That's 50. It needed 100 million probably to break even. It's got Jamie Lee Curtis and Woody Harrelson. It was forced into 2,500 theaters. It needs 100 million, and they thought, well, we'll make, even if we make 80 and call it, we'll make some money off of it on Hulu or whatever. It made $5. It didn't make $5 million. It didn't make $5 million.
No, it. And again, you're being too generous. My guess on this is they lost $98 million on
a movie that should have never been made. It's essentially, it's basically a lifting up. It's the year before AOC starts her big, national runs, and this was supposed to be the story of the woke girl boss, and it's supposed to appeal to that kind of crowd. It's not quite one battle after another, but it's not far away from it. And it lost $90 million on a movie that it should be impossible to lose that kind of money because it's so cheap to make. And yet they did.
I guarantee you there is some executive at Disney right now is trying to figure out where they can make money off of this thing, where they can recoup some of their losses. And they're trying to figure out what Disney resort can we put an Ella McKay themed bar in. Because that's all they think about is the new bars at Walt Disney World, and they got to recoup their money for their losses. And it's such, I mean, I know that Disney's been involved in a lot of things over the years, especially what do they have? Was it Touchstar Pictures? I can't remember the one that they came up with. Touchstone in the 1980s. They came up, with diversifying and trying to figure out ways that the Disney company could produce Disney movies that Walt would have never approved of, so that they could expand and all that. And so they've had some losses along the way, but I mean, this last year, it's so funny that their highest and lowest grossing films, were released in basically the same time period. But it's not a good track record. Yes, you can it's like, okay, so all of the different movies that they produced, they probably produced more than any other, company, threw them out there last year. And it's basically, you're not supposed to be a giant corporation and throw junk at the wall and see what sticks. And that's what they've been doing.
Can I just tell you, it's another example that Hollywood hates you. It's another example. Look at this. Look at this, Jonas, real quick. Let me just show you this, Jonas. This is out of, let me see, it's a little bit of a satirical place. The Awards Daily website. One Battle After Another is the greatest film of all time, according to critics, by Sasha Stone. It's a little bit humorous. It's tongue-in-cheek, but look at this. It says, One Battle After Another has now managed to do what no film has ever done in the history of awards. It has won every major critic award to date, including the National Board of Review, the Critics' Choice, just happened, the Gothams, the National Society, etc. This is a movie that was basically daydreaming about the annihilation of conservatives. And then they role-played it. They LARPed it out. Ella McKay and One Battle After Another. That's what Hollywood wants to make. These are the films they love. And it doesn't matter if they lose $100 million on it. They don't care. It's a corporation's money. They're going to waste it away, Jonas, because this is what they love. This is what they want to make. But nobody in any normal part of America is going to watch these things.
Yeah, what's interesting to me is James L. Brooks has made some fantastic films. I have not watched this one, and statistically speaking, I think I'm in the majority there. This is the same guy. He directed Terms of Endearment. He was obviously a producer on The Simpsons for a very long time. He was the reason The Simpsons happened. As Good as It Gets is one of the greatest romantic comedies of all time. It was a Best Actor, Best Actress award winner. Like, this is a guy, Spanglish, with Adam Sandler and Tia Leone and that pretty Spanish lady that was the inciting incident in the plot. There's a lot of incredibly heartfelt and wonderful stories that have come out of James L. Brooks. It's interesting to me that this is, not knowing anything about this, if we lived in a world where cinema was healthy, this should make enough money back quickly. But instead, I hear it's political. It has Jamie Lee Curtis in it, and she's got weird messaging. And Disney is incapable of promoting anything with an audience that would like to go see it. They just throw weird Stanish content from franchises out there and hope that the masses eat it up. And this wasn't that kind of film, so too bad, so sad.
Well, guys, the good news is it only dropped 59%. I mean, it went from 84,000 gross in one weekend to 34 the next. I mean, that's a pretty good hold, 59%. That's not a terrible drop.
Well, isn't this just kind of the thing you point to if you say, look, forced diversity and girl boss doesn't go together? You can't make money from it. Isn't this the thing you can point at and say, you can get the best guy in the world to make it, right? An award-winning writer, director, producer that can't do anything with this kind of theme and ideology because it doesn't attract anyone at all.
Maybe Selma Hayek. She might go see it.
That was not Selma Hayek. That was a different actress than Selma Hayek. I would not have stumbled over finding the name of the actress if it was Selma Hayek. I'm a married man, but I'm not blind.
Lauren, after Tron, Ares, and after Ella McKay, and after Snow White, was this the end? Was 2025 the end of the girl boss, or are we going to get more of that? Maybe is Supergirl going to be more of the same?
Well, probably. And I would also say it depends on, is this the year that the audience has finally fully rejected the girl boss? Yes. Is it the end of us getting to see it? No. There's still stuff in the pipeline. So I think they are going to be forced to course correct. We've been saying that for a long time, though. And so we've still got quite a bit of time and junk to get through before stuff that's actually produced is produced to a point that it's ready to release.
Can I point out, too, that 2025 also gave us a very good, let's say, girl boss, female boss, whatever, movie done right in K-pop Demon Hunters.
That's because they're feminine.
But wait a minute. I would also argue that there was a movie nobody else saw called Ballerina that was well done when it comes to, a powerful chick.
Yes, but it had the aura of the girl boss, and that's why it probably did not perform like it could have.
And not marketed well.
Not marketed well, again, leaning into that. All right, folks, that's the story right now for Disney, and we'll pay attention to this. The question is, can they release any more girl boss movies if they're literally making $5 million? Actually, now that I think about it, it didn't make that much. Well, folks, we've come to the end of another video of pure excellence and fun, explaining entertainment, keeping you ahead of the culture curve. That's what we hope you believe we've just done. And why should you believe it? Well, because we've done our very best to make it so, to be true, to be factual, and to do what the mainstream so-called access journalists simply won't. Folks, you can help share this out across the fruited plains of YouTube by clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And folks, as we get ready to say sayonara for now, we ask that you keep learning, keep growing, and wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep having fun.